I was not recording this. Does anybody mind if we record it? I mean, Jennifer's about to give us all useful information, right? I think you have to accept
I'm holding the phones.
Okay, so does anybody mind if this is useful information that goes out to other people? There's no deck, but you're all going to be on camera. Actually, only the person who's talking is on camera on my setup. Is that okay? Okay, carry on, Jennifer. I'm all ears.
So that I would love to collaborate with everybody on, I'm trying to make it 5 steps of what do I need to do this week. I need to look at my customer. I need to talk to my customer. I need to decide if they're impacted. I actually have customers that are not impacted by this at all. They're already virtual. Their business is virtual. They are suffering no ill effects, right? So I want to have like a little 5-step or a 10-step questionnaire that says, have I touched on my customers? Have I decided their impact? Have I determined which ones need to apply for which government situation? Right. And I want a little workflow that starts me off on that little spinning wheel, because some of my customers, as with all of ours, are really proactive and are reaching out and saying, can we use this? Can we use that? Can we do this? And then others are probably quietly freaking out and they need me to reach out to them. So that's what I'm trying to develop today, is what does that workflow look like to make sure that I capture everything for everybody?
That's a great idea, Jennifer. No, it's a fantastic idea. You're right. What are the steps they need to take, especially to maybe get the help that they need, but also maybe for their employees to get the help that they need. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not to get all dramatic, but my daughter-in-law was quite sick and now of course they're in forced isolation. She's feeling better. I don't think my son is going to live through it though, because forced isolation with him, she's going to kill him. But short of that, I sent out all of the things, the next steps that they need to do, but I never really thought of it in also, yeah, thank you, would be the short version, Jennifer. Get a workflow together for the steps for your clients to take.
And how you can share the work. And we were talking to somebody yesterday that has 400 ROEs to issue right now. Ugh. What is the time involvement in that?
Right.
So I feel like the second part of that is, don't feel that you have to be all and do all for your customers. Those that have some tech savvy, have them go and investigate what they qualify for and what they don't, right? Have them complete the form their own. Again, that's why I feel like I need this questionnaire to say, okay, who actually needs my help and who can get some guidance from me and be self-sufficient.
Yeah. And you know, Jennifer, you make such a good point. A questionnaire is a checklist too. I mean, it's a workflow. Questionnaires are fantastic workflows. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking now.
Anybody else? Questions, ideas? Was anybody in my set? Well, Cheryl, I know you were in my session today, and anything you want me to further show that was in there? Because we really roll through stuff in there fairly quickly, I think, in those webinars. Or are we all just going to look at each other for 10 minutes and then have nothing else to say?
I think a big thing right now is going back to your ideal client and reviewing that, because right now things are going to be slow, but in the next 6 weeks, I think, depending on what happens with our health situation, that tax deadline is going to come up very quickly. Yep. So I think, everybody's they're going to sit back right now. They're going to relax, panic, and do whatever they have to do. And then all of a sudden it's going to be the reality of, I only have a very short time to get my taxes done. And even though everything's been delayed, people are going to procrastinate. So how can we capture that and help them out?
Yeah. You're so right. But actually, and I know I harp on it, but taking a roll through your ideal client profile is going to be more important than ever now, because you're really probably going to see that if you had all restaurants, and I will say I'm kind of fortunate because not all my restaurant, like there's takeouts, right? But we'll see how those are impacted as well coming up. But if you have a vertical that is 100% foot traffic, what's that going to look like? It's such a great point. But even if they're all e-commerce, some of the e-commerce, you know, depending on if they go to necessary services, the supply chains are going to bust, right? Unless they're like my mother sitting at home making birdhouses and selling them. So.
No, and you raise a great point. I've got a couple of customers that are impacted because with everybody home, their business is now closed, right?
Yeah.
They're in the pet sitting business, and now everybody's walking their own dog.
Right.
So, you know, our strategy with that one is this is the perfect time for us to revamp her internal workflows, her internal processes. How is she going to handle it when everybody comes back online, right? Making sure that her employees can be having some sort of break, even though they can't have a vacation now, and aren't going to take off and go on vacation as soon as the planes are flying again. So we're working on those internal processes to keep everything going and to keep her engaged with her business and keep positive, because I think that's a big one, is that people are going to get very depressed. They're going to get disheartened, and they're going to be prone to wanting to give up on things when they just need to ride it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Jessica, you make a great point. Let's hear from you on it. I love it.
When you say a good point, you mean my chat?
Yeah, your chat. I'd really rather hear the sound of your voices. All I could do was read questions in my last webinar. Kelly. Let's feel sorry for Kelly for a minute.
Okay, 1 minute. And done.
Okay, go ahead, Jess.
Well, this has definitely been a week where I've been focusing hard on being proactive, both internally and with my clients. And I have already noticed my fulfillment workflow is being disrupted. So right now I am in the process of adapting that, because my clients, many of them are either in putting up fire modes, they're suddenly having to pivot and scramble to adapt, or it's still business as usual for their business, but suddenly they have their kids home. So they don't have time to focus on the admin stuff. So I am today revamping that and trying to reach out and figure out who may need to, loosen up the deadlines that they have with me for getting me the source documents, so that I know who to nag and who that if I were to nag for things would just stress them out more. Right. And I tend to have a pretty strict flow. Like if your books fall behind by this much, there are surcharges. I plan to waive that, because of course, and for a lot of business owners, their compliance books are like the last thing in their mind. As long as their sales tax is paid, they don't care if their books are tax ready until after the crisis is over and it's time to file next year's return. Yep. So this is definitely a learning experience as we go. Something I did want to bounce around with the group, since there's such a diverse group here to ask ideas from. At first, I thought about checking in with my clients individually, which I did via email. I started this last week. I said, this is what you can expect. This is what we can do for you. Reach out. But of course, not everybody reads that. And I don't have the time to call each one individually. So I was thinking about having a forum like this, like a 1 hour Zoom. Come, bring your questions, and then I'll post the recording. And I don't know what it looks like yet. I am feeling called to opening this to the community, not just my clients, because it would just be 1 hour of my time instead of 15 minutes or an hour times my client load. So I would love to get everybody's thoughts on this, or if anybody has thought about doing something similar.
Now I have a couple of clients I'm under DNAs, DNDs, DNRs, DNs, do nots.
DN, do not.
NDAs.
So anybody else who has an idea on that, because that's not going to float with my guys. Well, my restaurants, by the way, have already connected. There's a guy here. By here, I mean behind me. My parents used to own a restaurant here on the lake. The guy that bought it from them has organized a group of restaurants that includes my clients as well, to support each other and to idea share and they donated to the food banks and yak. Carry on. Anybody who's got a better idea though.
Well, the alternative is that Marina, Jessica, you could record it and then share it out. So you could record all the information that you want your customers to have, everything you would have in that conversation, and then link it out to them through a YouTube or through a recorded Zoom, so that if you've got some do not customers, you're not compromising their security or their confidentiality, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. I do not plan to like discuss any specific scenarios during that Zoom. Those clients, everybody already has my scheduling link. Anybody that wants to discuss their specific scenarios has that option. And I already posted 2 different YouTube videos with some tips, but I know that there are still questions. So just like here, we're having this open Q&A to discuss workflow and how it impacts our businesses. What I was thinking was having the same thing for business owners to have their generic questions. So like, you know, what should I do about my cash flow, or what should I do about financing? Generic stuff.
Well, for the generic stuff, if you've got Zoom webinar, then the only face that would be seen would be yours, and none of your participants could see anybody else. So they would be able to submit the questions via the chat, that only you could see those questions, not everybody. So that
That's a good idea.
Right, that would maintain the confidentiality, but still allow you to have a group function, but really with everybody wearing a bag over their head, essentially, right?
Right. So essentially, get what happened today with like the Intuit webinars are run, yeah.
That might work, because then, like you said, you can have tons of people on the call, but you only have to do it the one time.
Yeah. Okay. Any other kind of workflow related questions? Does anybody want to see the ideal client profile? Take a few minutes to take a look at that. Is that helpful? What would help? Or have we all been on too many of these, how to get through this thing? What I really was hoping for was some workflow stuff.
Well, you're our workflow expert, Kelly. You're our leader.
Oh, brother. Oh, but I am going to throw it out there, Jennifer. So it was my birthday the other day, which of course was a birthday in isolation. And my husband finally broke down and we got some isolation ice cream. That was my big thing. The fallout from the isolation ice cream and not having friends over is that I have so much ice cream in my fridge, well, it's just one tub. But as you know, Jennifer, I don't have a sweet tooth, except for right now. This thing is working at home with ice cream in the freezer is an issue. That's all I'm going to say.
So I'd like to rally the troops here and ask everybody on this call to unmute, because we're going to sing happy birthday to Kelly.
Oh, that's not where I was going with it.
I did this yesterday for Jan Brills Durang, and I think everybody unmute your call, unmute your line. And this is going to sound horrible because all of the timing and all of the syncing is off, but let's do it anyways. Natalie, Marina, come on, Angela, Katrina, Sam.
Okay, you have to sing twice because it was also my birthday.
Oh, cool. When was your birthday, Marina?
March 17th.
Okay.
And it's my 11th day of self-isolation because I came back from Europe, from London, UK. Okay. And if you've been following the news, you know the mess that is going on right now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's have a double birthday sing then. Now I can
go. 3, 2, 1. Happy
birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kelly and Marina. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, I am not sure if that could have worked out worse. Okay, so now we know things not to do on Zoom.
It's still fun.
Yeah.
Birthday, Kelly.
Yeah, okay. Workflow questions. Does anybody want to take a roll through the ideal client profile? It does seem to be timely, or what's up?
Yes, Kelly, let's go through the ideal client workflow.
Yeah, it's up to you guys, right?
I would be interested in going through it.
Yep.
Okay, let's move a few things around here. Okay, let's go to the top. Am I in the top? I'm in the top.
What kind of ice cream is it?
Moose Tracks.
Ooh.
I know, right? Kawartha Dairy Moose Tracks, no less.
Our local grocery store stopped carrying Moose Tracks.
Really?
Yeah, it was the merger between Safeway and Sobeys here in Alberta, and that line got axed, so we can't get it at either store anymore.
That's like tragic. Actually, I'm not digging on that at all. Okay, let's, actually the best Moose Tracks ice cream is the Publix brand in Florida. It's amazing. The Publix premium brand. Okay, so let's find share and let's share this one. Okay, here we go. So feel free to take some screenshots of it. And then, or maybe you've got a document out. This is what we did a few minutes ago in the webinar. We just took some screenshots of it because I'm not set up to send it to you. I'll know all your stuff, and I'm just not going down that road today. So anyways, if it's helpful at all, take some screenshots. If it's not helpful, I mean, if you want, also just start writing stuff down in a Word document or an Excel sheet as well, what some of these ideas are that are going to help with an ideal client profile. And if you see some other ideas, I mean, hopefully we're doing some spitballing here. If you see some other ideas that I don't have down here, shout them out.
Are these in any particular order? Marketing, effectiveness, implementing, controlling?
No. If I was smart, I would have done them in alphabetical order, but I didn't. Which maybe is making some of you twitchy. Not that we're detail oriented, right?
I just thought there might be a method to your madness.
None. I just pecked them out. So you know what? I'm going to have to go back and fix this. Thanks, Jennifer, for that.
It's not broken, Kelly. It's not broken.
It's a little bit broken now that I'm looking at it that way. It's really broken. Hold on. There we go. So some ideas of just how you're going to work. And as I said in the thing, although my ideal client is incorporated, I like the way a workflow works for incorporated businesses. I just get it. I do have two that are not. I have a charity and I have a sole prop. I think some of you know who my sole prop is, so he's not going anywhere. For those of you who don't know, it is it's my darling husband. So he doesn't fit my ideal client, but just because I'm talking about ideal client doesn't mean every client is going to be ideal. This isn't like some high-handed, this is the only clients you can have. They can only be perfect. That's not the real world. We all have clients that aren't perfect, that aren't ideal, but at least we have to have an end run of what the ideal client looks like, or we're never going to get there, right? So where are you going to work? For example, was super important to me, but even though I'm virtual, I go see my clients when I'm home. I love to go see my clients. Doesn't necessarily mean we're getting much done, but it does mean that I'm somewhat on site. Hey, did you see in the, yeah, Jennifer?
Can I just, for those that muted themselves against the happy birthday, might be a good idea.
What? Sorry, I missed that.
We've, for those of you that are doing other things, maybe if you could mute your line. I'm hearing paper shuffling and people talking to each other. Thank you. I'm a jerk.
No, not at all.
Okay, go on. So you'd like to go and visit customers at their offices?
Yep, I do. So do you have some technology that you want to work in? There's lots of great technology, right? There's almost too much great technology now. So you got to pick your tech stack, because you can't build a workflow without knowing what your tech stack is. A lot of this is going to relate to what your business model is as well. Poor Cheryl, she just went through this. Preferred industries. So this is a really good time to review whether you're, as we said at the beginning, this is a really good time to review whether your preferred industries are all the same business model. So of course, right now, if it requires human to human contact, there's issues. And as I said, even e-commerce, I think there's going to be some struggles with supply chain. What kind of work do you want to do? Like, what kind of tasks do you want to do? So I love sales clearing. Some people hate sales clearing. I really don't like inventory. Some people like inventory. I have one client that's multi-currency. It's not my gig, but their multi-currency needs are fairly simple. So even I can deal with them. Reporting, analysis, sales tax filing. We're talking about some of this in the webinar as well earlier. Job costing, no labor burden. I'm all about it. Full job costing. I love it, but I can't do it because it doesn't work in my tech stack. And then, class tracking, I think was in there. I love class tracking. Anybody else love class tracking? Yeah, it's super rewarding. Go ahead, Jennifer.
I have a question. Is there any science to, you've got 4 columns of I love it to I hate it. Is there any science between having 3 or 5 or 4 or 8 options here?
No. The science is, that's what I decided. In case you didn't, well, I'm sure you did. I mixed it up too. So
that's why I thought, you know, over here, there's like a bunch. And so.
Yeah, but you would think I would have done them the same direction. That was actually a conscious choice. I decided to mix it up a little bit to make sure that people are paying attention. So it does go back and forth between how much you like it and what it is. I'm just playing with everybody. So there, I think down there, you might want to get some other ideas in there, and hopefully you're maybe writing some of this stuff down. I don't know. So I'm going to move on a little bit. Services you loathe. I mean, certainly I didn't think of everything. So start pecking out the stuff you don't want to do, for example. There we go. And some advisory services, as I mentioned in the webinar earlier today. Advisory services, it's kind of this fuzzy word that's out there. I bet a lot of us are doing more advisory services than we actually think, though. And then I use the example of custom reporting, which QBO is super fantastic for. So building out the custom reports to make them super useful, but super accessible for your clients, that's advisory work, right? CFO. Some days I know what CFO engagements mean and some days I don't. I work with a couple of businesses who have CFOs and they couldn't be more different. I give up on what CFO really means. Engagements, foreign tax. So those are just some of the ideas. What size of client do you want to take on? So I think right now, maybe people are thinking in their mind, I shouldn't have had 3 giant clients. You know, a mix of clients, but you know, you want a few to take up most of your work and that's happy. You don't want to manage too many clowns, or what do you want to do? Do you have a minimum price you're charging? Is everybody, so tell me, and there's absolutely no judging because I have an idea here. Let me know if you are still on hourly pricing and don't want to be. I'm not judging. I'm curious if this is something I don't do. Pricing is not part of the coaching that I do, but I do have some ideas on getting off of hourly that you don't normally hear. Nope, everybody's value pricing. Okay. Then we're good. We don't need to have that discussion. Okay. Yay us if we're all value pricing.
Actually,
Sorry, Kelly, sorry. I'm still on hourly with the desire to switch over.
Okay.
So am I.
And
I
I'm
just
also,
didn't, my screen was messed up for a minute, so.
Okay. So,
and I'm also new, so would like any suggestions.
okay. I got you. Yeah. Okay. So, and again, I don't do value pricing. I do a paid review. I take a look at what the work is going to look like, what the client is doing well, what the client isn't doing well, and I tell them how much it's going to cost to do the book. So I'm a little heavy-handed. But I have an engagement right now with a client that we have no idea. There just is no way to gauge what the work is going to look like. This business model is, it's like, as our friend said at one of the conferences, she had these fantastic t-shirts and she said, everything is under control. It went something like this. If you're on a bike, your hair is on fire, there's a thunderstorm, and I can't remember, it was like the greatest t-shirt. No, you're doing a great job of bookkeeping and you've got it all under control or something. And that's how it feels with this client. We have no idea what tomorrow holds. So with them, I'm not going to do a good job if I have to time track for 5 minutes here and there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably avoid some phone calls and I'm not going to reply to the emails and I'm not going to be in their books doing little 5-minute things that could make a really big difference. So there is a flat price to be my client. And I, you know, if you need to spin it, you can spin it that you're going to do a much better job for them if you don't feel like you have to track every 5 minutes, and they don't have to be scared to call you and know that you're tracking 5 minutes, that it's a fully collaborating relationship for your base price. And then charge by the hour from there. You know, maybe you're not comfortable getting rid of hourly pricing yet, but that's a really great starting point, is just setting down, we can work way better together if I have a base price. And then when you do move to, so then the next step, I think, you know, in my humble opinion, I don't know anything really, but except that this worked for me. Then you go to, you take the average of 3 months and you divide it out and you charge them that monthly. And then you keep track of the time for both you and them, and you either add some on at the end of the quarter or give them a credit. You're not going to take it away at the end of the quarter. And then you move on from there until everybody's comfortable. And then now that then the third step is you're on the pricing that you want to be monthly. You know what it is, but they owe you money from previously because you've got open AR. So for the couple of clients that I had that I was transitioning, we took a set amount of time depending on the client. So the engagement was going to be, $500. They owed me $1,000. We took that $1,000, divided it by 6, and added it on to the next 6 months worth of payments just to get them all caught up. And then you're in the, hopefully, as I said, I don't do value pricing. Nobody's getting an option on my pricing, but then you're in the value or the fixed pricing world. So hopefully that's useful information. It worked for me. Hopefully it works for anybody who's struggling with it.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so then we have this. What kind of client do you want to have? So as I mentioned, I have a sole prop, even though I really only want to do incorporated, and I have one charity, and they still fit my business model. They're awesome, basically because they don't need budgets. I don't do budgeting, and so we're away to the races. They also have audited financials, so of course the accountant's taking care of all of the wiggling, niggling tax details for me. Age and demographic. So, back to this one. Again, there is, really pick what you love. So my buddy Nadine loves sole props. She does not want to do bigger businesses. She doesn't want to do incorporated companies. What she really loves is the mompreneurs. That's where she fits, and that's where she feels helpful and valued and can really do things for the women around her. It's awesome. She loves the mompreneurs. Age and demographic. So Mariette Martinez, who's fantastic. If you're not following her, follow Mariette Martinez. It wouldn't take you long to Google her. She's got a great Latino community that she is dealing with, and she's rocking it. Personality traits. So I am, I'm not the warmest person on the planet. I need people to be very independent. So I don't want, this doesn't work for me. That doesn't mean that I'm not interacting with my clients. Some of them are going through a really tough time right now. We spend time on the phone talking, or I go up to their businesses and I know everything about their lives, and we talk about things like, we do visions and goal setting and all that other kind of stuff that I love, and all of the calling up the universe stuff. It doesn't mean that I'm not helpful, but I can't help them with their child that hates them. That's where I'm going with that. So figure out what kind of client you're going to have the patience and the tolerance for. So, and then here, how are you going to collaborate with them? So do you want super compliant clients, or are you one of those ones that it's the client's problem? If they want to go willy-nilly all over the map and that's okay with you and the CPAs and everybody who's involved, how about it? right? But you need to decide what that's going to look like for you. If you are not fine line accounting, you're not going to do well with a client who wants to post all their trips in their corporate files, right? How about this one though? This is a big one. A buddy of mine, Mike, and I collaborate together, and we are both precisely like this. We offer up advice to our clients, and they ask for advice. But if they continue to ask and not do what it is that we're suggesting, then that's not going to work for us, right? We're not going to have the same conversation over and over and over again. And then navel gazing. So take a picture. Let's get asshole out of there for now. Take a picture of some of this stuff, if you will, and what kind of stuff is going to work for you. And when I say controlling down here, I really mean that it's not a bad thing. In our industry, some people need someone super controlling to help them out at all. They're just all over the map. And if they had somebody like me that's not controlling particularly, although I have a very set ways of how I want things done, I'm not a super controlling personality. So sometimes people could use more control, that's for sure, like my kids. And then there we go. I think that's the end of it. So hopefully that was useful. And I'm open to, yep. Questions?
Do you put a point system on that to define that you want people that are at least 70% ideal before you accept them, or put some sort of measurement on there so that you know if 6 months down the road you're like, yeah, that person was on the fence and now I know I don't want them, I'm going to rehome them?
No.
Okay.
That would be a really good idea though. Okay. I think where the points come in, let me go back to here. I guess kind of I've done it, but not super scientifically because, you know, I'm a bit of a freewheeler.
Well, I'm just wondering if you give them some sort of rating so that down the road, is your ideal client actually working for you to give you ideal clients? Right? Because a lot of times what we think we want and what we actually want can sometimes be a little bit different, especially when you're new and starting out.
Yeah. That's a really good point. No, the answer is no, I haven't done that. Where I've done it is really just here, you know, kind of in the, where does it sit and how much does it matter to you? Have I taken a look at how that worked out? No. Now, it's an interesting thing because with the coaching that I do, it would be a really good thing to review with people. For me, I either know or I don't, right?
Yeah.
Either they're working out or they're not. It's fairly organic for me, being a you know, an underthinker. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I mean, because if I don't really have anything of value, no burning questions, nothing I can do for y'all in terms of workflow, then possibly y'all have better use of your time today.
There are several questions in the chat regarding Zaddy.
Pardon me?
There's questions in the chat, but Kelly, also how can we have access?
When oh,
yeah.
what was the rabbit hole? Okay, so I'll do what I can see. What was the rabbit hole? Myers-Briggs. If you just Google Myers-Briggs, it was the Myers-Briggs thing so that you can analyze yourself to death. What was so that was the rabbit hole. Oh, okay. Okay, so if anybody is interested, you can, hopefully you don't mind if I let them know, Jennifer. Jennifer does cash coaching and working with accounting professionals to transition to hourly to value. So probably everything I just said doesn't make any sense to her.
No, everything you said makes absolute sense, and it is a good path, right?
Yeah.
I support your advice 100%.
Okay, so there you go. There's a resource for you, is Jennifer Baldeck, if you're interested in coaching on going to hourly to value pricing. And then time tracking in 17 hats. Have I used it? Do you find it easy to use? And any tips? Marina, it's funny, Natalie, Amy, and I were just talking about this. Seems like a month ago. Was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah, it's been a lot going on in the last couple of days. And so, do I use the time tracking? It is super easy to use. Give me a second here. Let's just, do you want to see it in action, how easy it is to use? Well, why am I asking? Because I've already made the decision to do it. See, I'm an asshole myself. Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna jump into a project here, and then I'm gonna share again. Because as I mentioned, I actually do have a client that I'm time tracking in. So I've been using it mightily lately because I'm working every day in their file. So basically you go into a project. You can go in a number of ways. This just seems to be pretty simple. You go into a project and the project that you're in will pop open, and then you can either manage your rates from there, and then we'll go down a rabbit hole. Give me a second here. And you have to spell it correctly. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way and do a better job of this. Why am I not spelling it right? Okay, F-R-E-N. There we go. Okay, into the client project is the easiest way I find to access it. Go to the time tracking, start time tracking. You can decide if it's billable or not. You can actually just do all of this right now if you want, fill it all in, or you can start it and it chugs along. And then because I got to get rid of something, because I haven't been time tracking, of course, I leave it open and running instead of closing it off. So that's my challenge right now. Then you can either finish it or pause it. And then you finish it. And when you go to the time tracking, time log area, this is a demo account, by the way. You can do a number of things with it. You can open it to edit it. And you can put in the time if you forgot to do something with it. You can put in some notes. So we'll just do pack, and we'll save that time and we're done. And then, do we want to invoice that time? Actually, we need to go out of here for a second. Did I make that? Give me a second. Yeah, task is billable. Okay, so it's not doing what I want. Normally, what would then happen is it would tell you you have X amount of unbilled time. I wonder if I need to refresh the page. You would have X amount of unbilled time. Do you want to invoice it? And then you literally just hit invoice. So let's see if that worked. I have no idea what's going on here. So alternatively, because that's not working for me, of course, we can go in and invoice it, and it should. Why is this not working today? Jessica, you got any answers on this? Because this.
No, you don't have enough time. It's like 3 seconds and it doesn't qualify. Until
I thought I put an hour in.
No, 3 seconds.
Oh, what a dick.
Right, 0 hours.
Oh, you're right. I didn't. Okay. Operator error. Got an hour. Finished. There we go. Pretty magical, right? If you do it right. So then you can pick all of them, last month, custom date range. You can do whatever you want with it, include non-billable time because you were a dork and didn't hit billable time, whatever you need to do. So then you carry on. And it creates a magical little invoice for you. And you can put in a display title and all of the stuff. Anybody who doesn't know the difference, the display title is what the client sees. Is that right? Did I say that right? Something like that. One of them, I'm not looking where I want to look. Very often in the forms in 17 Hats, it gives you 2 options. One of them is what shows up in your templates page, and one of them is what the client is going to see. So that's how, once you get the right amount of time in, that is how simple it is to invoice in here. And away you go. So we're going to cancel that. Yep. Marina, is there? Yes. So Marina is asking, I don't know why she's not asking so that you don't always have to listen to the sound of my voice. Yes, that was a lecture. If there is a way to collect payments up front. I use Plooto. It works fantastic for me. I had a little, Plooto and I had a little spat when they didn't roll out their pricing the way that I wanted to. But all in all, it still stayed. They apologized, like they did a better rollout as it turned out. They saw the error of their rollout, and it's still the best application for me because I can do AR and AP in it, and it's a seamless process to collect upfront pre-authorized payments from Plooto. I love it. Rotessa is another great one. I did trial Rotessa. I have interfaced and used it, and I have no complaints. And it's good enough for me that Tanya Hackman Hilts loves it because she certainly knows her apps, and she has had great success with Rotessa. Okay, that's great. I think that's it, right?
I just had a question, yeah, on 17 hats. I know we had a session yesterday just regarding the workflows. And we have like a drafted, Amy and I have a draft out workflow in there, but because I'm brand new to 17 hats, we have created like the client profiles, but is my second step to implement those workflows, or like what is the 17 hats for dummies? Like what's the best video or something to kind of watch like the step-by-step integration of it?
Well, Jessica's got some great ones. So you can go to Jessica Fox's YouTube. I've got a few on my YouTube as well. I'm lazier when it comes to my videos though. So the order of events looks like this to me though. Setting up 17 hats ideally looks like this. Get your custom fields in, get your clients uploaded, complete the custom fields for the clients that you have. Customize the templates that you need if you've bought them from me, or create your email, contract, and whatever quote templates that you can. But remember that you can fix them on the fly, create them on the fly as well. But get a couple of key ones in so you get used to using the templates. Use the custom field tokens religiously in the forms then, so that if anything changes in your business model or the client's business model, the information, you change it in the CRM portion, and it's automagical into anything that you're sending out or collecting from them. So keeping up with the custom fields is really important. It's 10 times easier though to fill things out in the custom fields for your clients than it is to fill them out in the documents. And so then do that, get that all organized, and then create the workflows from the templates, because you can't create the workflows without the templates. Now you could, in theory, you could actually peck out all the tasks, but then you're going to be moving stuff around, and you're better to work out the order. Map out, as I always say, map out the end run. What's the outcome? What's the end result? What's going to happen? And make your workflows work backwards from there. So move up the chain. So do that somewhere else, like on paper or in Excel or whatever. And then implement the templates, create a test project for yourself, and test the bejeebers out of the thing, because there's going to be hiccups. Mine still have hiccups. Like I have places where there should be a space and there isn't a space. I have, and remember, if you have a custom field, it needs to be completed or it looks dorky, right? So I showed you guys the other day that if you have a custom field for the project date and time, but you don't have a project date and time, well, then it looks a little silly. We have a meeting and nothing. So make sure that you're aware of what's going out. BCC yourself in the beginning on anything that goes out so that you have a copy of it. I fully believe in redundancy for the sake of redundancy. I don't think 17 Hats is going anywhere, but I don't have a single application that I haven't cross-pollinated my documents and details and templates. So it's like I'm not going to have Chronobooks back up QBO because Rewind is an independent product. I'm not likely to use unless the client really, really can't afford it. And I'm not going to use QBO receipt capture because I want Receipt Bank to have their documents. Same idea. In the beginning or when you've created a new one, BCC yourself. I also get a copy of my sent mail so that I can see that things did go out. That I never stop doing. And then I just delete them. Once I know they're good and I know they're in 17 Hats, I don't need all that junk in my Gmail. Then I would do the leads unless that's your most important thing. If you're growing at an incredibly rapid rate, do your lead captures. The difference between a lead capture and a questionnaire is you can do if this, then that with a lead capture because you can ask a question and then start various workflows. So lead captures to me, even though they act like questionnaires, they would be little questionnaires. If you need to gather more information, use an actual questionnaire. And then I would do, make sure you build your calendars out and integrate your email at some point as well and put your signatures in there. I don't have this scripted, so I don't have my list of things. So email signature, that moves to the top somewhere, even though I forgot about that. So get that up in there as well and integrate whatever you're going to do. Super quick. I mean, this is a really quick version of it. If you have, start with your calendar in Gmail. I'm just using Gmail as an example. Nobody call me out on it. Gmail is the middle piece. That's the hub. Then like Acuity feeds into Gmail and sends the message to 17 Hats and so on and so forth. Create the calendars you're going to share in Gmail and then sync them in 17 Hats and then create your work calendars in 17 Hats. Then if you feel like it, you could go ahead and do life cycles, which I only use for onboarding. And I think we're done. That's the order of events. Did it cover it?
No, that's perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Jessica, anything to add? I know you're a Power 17 Hatter.
That was a really good comprehensive thing. And I do have some videos on YouTube, but the one with almost this same workflow you described, maybe some things are a slightly different order, is currently under production. I expect to upload it sometime this week. So if anybody did not take notes, it's coming.
Okay, there you go.
Jessica, Kelly, what's Jessica's YouTube page name?
I'll post a link in the chat.
Awesome, thank you. Anything else?
How about this has been great fun. Thank you, Kelly. I learned stuff today. I'm so happy.
Okay, great. Sorry, I'm just sending one last note. 2 seconds. Two seconds, and there's my dogs. Do they have to be noisy right now? Of course they do. Oh, anybody in the watering hole? I mean, I know you guys are all in the watering hole. How about Lisa's post today, what your coworkers are doing? I actually was laughing out loud today. I was laughing my ass off at that. It was so great. It was so light and it was so funny. It made me so happy. And it's all about me. Okay, I think we're good to go then. Right? Okay. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I just got to find out where to end it. Oh, come on. There we go.